Let's take a look at this light heavyweight matchup. Jim Basswell with Brian Campbell. We are making the rounds with Dan Rayfield waiting in the wings. Brian, CompuBox stats tell us that Stevenson has connected on 55% of his power punches over his last 5 fights. Bad news for Bika. What do we expect?
I expect that Bika is going to be he's going to be there to be hit. I mean, that's his style. Look, he's a straight-ahead fighter that comes at you. What is clearly going to be going against him in this fight is that he's moving up in weight. He's going to have Stevenson ready there with that quick. Stevenson is. He got a late start in the sport. He still retained a very high level of athleticism with speed, with that quick jab, with that left hand over the top. This is very much a matchup that let his punches go to really try to showcase himself in a big way. Gets a lot of criticism and have a chance to really erase that to a certain degree if he can come through with a big win.
Hey, Dan Rayfield, Stevenson is a guy we've called out for avoiding major matchups.
Well, he has avoided major matchups. I mean, he did not fight Kovalev last year. It ostensibly was to go fight Bernard Hopkins. He didn't fight that fight either, and he wound up fighting 2 much lesser opponents. But he's a guy worth waiting for because for a couple of reasons. One, he's the champion of the weight class, but he is the champ, and that means something. And on top of that, he's exciting to watch. He's got tremendous punching power. He's got a very good personality. He's interesting to talk to, and I like his fighting style. So you want to see him in bigger matchups. Okay, if he gets by
absolutely,
Bika,
Brian. You know, every fight you have to kind of build up to the next step in your career. So what does Stevenson need to prove to you?
Well, this fight's no different than his last few fights because when you have the champion in a division and he's not facing the most difficult guys available to him at the time, it puts a target on his back. It clearly adds a lot of pressure that he's got to not only win, he's got to win spectacularly. And I think you just look back at Stevenson's performance against Andre Fonfara when he got dropped late in that fight. It looked like he faded a bit before coming on at the end to really leave no doubt. He's got the pressure where he can't have in this matchup. Here's a guy that comes to win. He'll skew close to that line of being a little bit dirty. He'll do whatever it takes to keep him in the fight. Loves fighting an action style. That's going to put an extra pressure on Stevenson. Fans want, man, that criticism starts to bubble up. To pop those bubbles, you got to come through and knock your guys down and get them out of there.
You don't think Sakio's going to sock it to Adonis?
Sock it to him, baby.
Sock it to him. Dan, what's in store for the winner?
It's very simple, Jim. The winner of the fight between Kovalev, as we've discussed, I'm no great, huge fan of the WBC, but they did something that made a lot of sense to a lot of boxing fans. What they did was they made Kovalev, who happens to have belts in other organizations, they made him the mandatory for the winner of the fight. They've already ordered the negotiations to begin. Be a purse bid, and so the winner of this fight is going to have no choice but to fight Sergey Kovalev, and that's just the bottom line. It's a fight that we've all wanted to see. Now, the wrinkle in there, of course, is that if you want to see Stevenson Kovalev, which is the main fight everybody wants to see, Kovalev was going to make one of the mandatory defenses of one of his other belts this summer against Muhammadi, so he'd have to come through that too. But they're both big favorites. Hopefully things stay the way they're supposed to be, and we will get the fight we want to see, which could add another big-time fight to what is looking like a tremendous year in boxing with the big match.